What's up, Sportman family? It's your boy Sporkman, and welcome back to another Market Watch. Today, we're going to be talking about cards you should be buying right now before it's absolutely too late. And yes, of course, we're going over Stampede in today's video. And let me tell you something, everybody, because obviously I know a lot of people understand how I feel about the set. However, I will say, even though there's a lot of cards that was missed in the set, there are opportunities to have in this set in terms of gaining, profitability in this as well, but also getting cards you need for your deck now versus 2 weeks from now where the prices escalate. And that's why we're going over this. Now, we don't know the full ratios. We don't know what is in this set in terms of what's short printed in terms of like that. But from what I've been seeing and what I'm kind of like evaluating from what I'm seeing on social media, from Instagram, Twitter, and I should say X at this point, and even YouTube, we're seeing a lot of different ratios and a lot of different things. But putting it all together, I'm kind of understanding where certain things are lying in terms of how it's getting pulled. And one thing to note, everybody. Do not shop on TCG Player for pre-sale. It's a very dangerous market. Obviously, you will have luck here and there, and maybe you are lucky you get a card that is really cheap on TCG Player and it ends up escalating price. Sure, but I wouldn't go on TCG Player because the listings, it's very low. So people are going to high price point their card at a very high price point. And then obviously it's not a good tell of what a card is and where the market should be for that certain card. As people don't know themselves and they're just putting a random price, attached onto the card, and hopefully it sells. That's why pre-sale is dangerous. Now, I will say Gamer's Choice had some really ridiculous price itself as well, and all respect to Gamer's Choice, they've had amazing pre-sales in the past. And not to say they don't have amazing pre-sale in this Stampede set, but obviously there's some cards where I'm just like I don't know why it's that highly priced, but hey, you know what? Yeah, everyone has their opinion on where a card should be. Also, they probably know a little bit better in terms of the ratio, and that's why they're putting that card right there. Or maybe they just didn't pull enough of that card, and that's why they're pricing it a little higher than most. So that's a lot of aspects of why they could be doing certain things. But like I said, these are cards that you should be buying right now because from what I've seen, and also given the fact of past formats and just current play, these are cards that are definitely should be on your bucket list and in your cart. If it's not already. Now, Gaga Cowboy is a great example of a card that has past format playability, but also current day playability as well. And at $10 for a QCR, this one is definitely underrated and something you should be putting in your cart almost immediately, to be honest with you. Fiendsmith Engraver. Now, I've been seeing a lot of different things on this one, right? So I saw an opening of 3 boxes and people pulled 3 engravers. It's great, right? Not terrible. Not terrible. And then you see another opening where I saw 7 boxes open and 1 engraver. So then there's the ratio is all over the place. But what I will tell you is that if you are looking to pick up engraver, which was definitely like a $100 card, at $5, you should be biting on the opportunity to buy it. Yeah, it's not a Core Center Secret Rare, it's not the Secret Rare at $10, but an Ultra Rare, Super Rare, if you're looking to play budget, if you're looking to just grab the card so you can play it, to have it, $5, $15 for a playset of engraver, yeah, man, you should be definitely getting this card at $5. That is a must. Definitely worthwhile in that price point right there. Obviously, if you do want the upgrade to the platinum secret rare, you can always purchase it for $20. I wouldn't recommend it, but $5 I would say go for that. Platinum secret rare is not a terrible rarity because I think that it's again the next best rarity below Core Center Secret Rare, obviously. But I will say that I think the market and the evaluation of a Platinum Secret Rare right now is a little askew, given what we've seen in Bonanza, because people are buying out QCRs. So the Platinum Secret Rare is the next thing to go up, and then people are buying out that. So we're seeing a little askew prices, and I think that's why it's manipulating over here now to the actual market in Stampede. We've seen a lot of bleed over from both Bonanza into Stampede with a lot of different cards in this set, as well as people and people that are selling like Gamer's Choice, like Tier Zero, like all these other places. They're kind of using that knowledge that these cards will eventually go up, and they're trying to price it at that price point to begin with. So that's why we're also seeing a lot of different things raise in price as well. Superstar Slayer is also another one. This was basically a $25+ card. Obviously, you really only need one of this in your extra deck, and it almost is a must in almost all decks and just extra deck in general. So hopefully you're purchasing this one, and at $5 for basically either the collector rare, the ultra rare, even the ultimate rare, this definitely should be on your want list as well, and something you should definitely be picking up. We've seen what happened with a lot of meta cards that have increased in price, right? We saw that with basically Infinite Permanence, Ash Blossom, SP Little Knight, all these main cards, all these key cards increased in price over time, and I expect that to happen with Engraver. Superstar Slayer, Seventh Ascension is another great example of a card that is very meta worthy right now, and a card that would escalate in price. And at $20 for a QCR, with a lot of people being turning to high rarity for things, $20 for this card is not a terribly priced card at all. This card can quickly shoot up to $40 in a heartbeat, so I definitely would consider picking up the QCR. However, if you don't want to pay with the QCR, at 99 cents for all the other copies, or like $2 for, like, let's say the Secret, for example, yeah, this is a definitely great copy to pick up at this low of a price point. Again, this card was basically like $50 plus beforehand, and now with the availability of this, and again, we don't know what the ratios are. Some things got short printed from what I've been told. Again, we have to really see the full ratios once everything has really been laid out in front of us. I just will say that it's definitely good to be picking some of these cards up at some of these cheap prices for sure. Molocharmy Fuelios. Now, I was a little hesitant, but from what I've seen, I saw one Fuelios, and like literally, like I think it was someone opened like 6 boxes. I think they only got one Fuelios, which is a little worrisome. And that should tell you everything you need to know, that at $15, yeah, that you should pick it up. Probably at $15. Can this go down to 10? It surely can. It definitely can. But I wouldn't risk it. I would pick it up for 15. Now, if you end up losing $5, I mean, it's $5, everybody, for a card that was definitely like $100 plus. Like, you're not going to go wrong for a $5 loss on a card that probably is a must on most decks, and side decks as well. So keep that in mind as well as you're moving forward, because this card is just like all the other key cards. It can escalate in price, and we've seen so many main meta cards increase in price so fast. So those are things to definitely be aware of. Now, we've talked about older formats and cards as well, but also cards that could maybe eventually, maybe down the line, not now, maybe down the line, like number 16, come back from the ban list. And this is a great, beautiful, one of the better number cards there is out there. And at $10 for the QCR, if you can get it, I know it's sold out right now, but if you can get it for $10 somewhere else, yes, buy it at the opportunity and definitely get it, because it's definitely worth the $10 price tag, I'll tell you that much. Now, Daigusto Emerald is a card that has past format playability and current format playability. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about both past and current, because you're going to see a lot of cards on this list and on the buy it now list that has that effect. And I think with Stampede, they focused on really the older format while also giving into current format cards. And that is what we're seeing with a lot of these different cards, like Daigusto Emerald, for example. And this card is definitely worth a $20 price tag. Obviously, there are cheaper copies to pick up in this set as well. But if you're looking to pick up the high rarity, $20 is not a terrible price tag for this card as well. Now, I will say this much. I know Wind-Up Carriers and Mighty is banned right now. However, there's been a lot of hype with wind-ups in the past few weeks, in terms of creating the deck for older format, but also just people making noise. Maybe it might come off the ban list soon. Maybe there might be some support. And why do I say that as well? Because Konami is very smart, right? We saw it with a lot of different decks in the past that got really like upgrades, and leading up to it, then we heard announcement of support. Now we see Wind-Up Carriers and Mighty, right, in this set. Wind-Up Zen Mage is also in this set. Wind-Up Shark is in this set. Wind-Up Magician is in this set. It's really only missing Rabbit and Rat, right, from this wind-up list. But this is an amazing tell to what might come and could be great prices to start picking these up at QCRs. Now, should you pick them up in other rarities? Sure, why not? You could. But at a QCR, these are pretty good prices for a deck that was once revered as one of the best decks out there. And again, this deck is starting to get some play and see some value in older format, as well as things have started to escalate up in, I'm not sure if you've seen it on TCG Player, but Wind Up Rat has been going up quite a lot. So this should be a telltale sign to start picking these cards up if you're looking to play older format, but also maybe a sign that Konami could be supporting windups in the future. So there's that as well. Transaction Rollback, a card that was definitely high priced. And something that is low price in this set. So definitely worthwhile picking this up at such a low price tag, under $2, basically under $3 for most things here. $20 for the Core Center Secret if you don't want the upgrade. I think it's not a terrible price, to be honest with you. I would pick it up if you are looking to pick this one up at the highest rarity. At $20, it's definitely a good price tag right now. Crimson Dragon, I really don't have to sell a lot of people on this one. We understand why Crimson Dragon is so important. I do think eventually it will definitely touch maybe the list. I don't know if it will, 100%, but it's like an inkling of a feeling. I feel like this card might end up on the list at some point. Now, I will say that at this price point, it's definitely a must, right? Your Platinum Secret Rare at $10, close to that Core Century Secret Rare. Yeah, like definitely 100% I would get it if you're looking to upgrade. However, I will say the Core Century Secret right now is at $108 from what I saw last look at it. That's a great price for the Core Century Secret as well. So if you're looking to pick up the QCR for the Crimson Dragon, the price has gone down a lot and definitely worth the price tag, especially given all the Blue Eyes hype and Blue Eyes love, and also the upgrade and power up we're going to see with Blue Eyes moving forward into the meta as well. But all in all, 99 cents for your Crimson Dragon, that was basically a $35 plus card. Yeah, you should definitely be picking this up, especially. Another great card, Salamangreat Raging Phoenix. We saw this card raise in price as well, but now it's available for a very cheap price. Another great example of a card you should pick up while it's cheap, because these prices will eventually start to pick up, especially if these decks do get support. And then on top of it, everybody, low listings tend to happen with these sets, and we start to see escalation in prices, especially with the QCR and the Platinum Secret Rare, as we've mentioned. And the QCR being at $15 for this card especially, that should be a telltale sign as well as to picking it up here. Number 11 Big Eye is a amazing card. Amazing. The artwork is so, it's so simple, but it has such a beautiful touch, look, and the effect is amazing. At $15 for this as a QCR with just a lot of value behind it versus the older format and current format, it is a definitely must pick up for you. Definitely in your cart for sure. Along with number 106 Giant Hand, the prize card, a very, very cool card. And at $10 at the QCR price tag is another amazing pickup. Now, all these cards, could they go down in value? Maybe by a little, but not by a lot, everybody. So that's why if it goes into like $8, what are you really saving? Because we know eventually these cards will pick up in price by a lot. So why not just bite at the opportunity at $10? It's definitely a worthwhile opportunity to buy into these cards while they're around this price tag, because we've seen it happen with Bonanza. We know what happens with these cards that end up increasing in price in terms of the QCRs, right? We see low listings happen for them. We see what happens when people get hyped for an older format card. And we also see what happens when a card, an archetype, gets support and the QCRs get bought out, so those are things to keep in mind, everybody. Chamber Dragon Maid, this is another great card to purchase. And at a QCR at $20, yeah, that's not a terrible price tag. MX Saber Invoker, yes, I understand this. It's not around right now, but it's a great card if it ever does come off the list. And MX Saber Invoker at $10 a QCR, that is an amazing price tag as well. And we talk about older format. Yes, this card should be going up in price. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'll put it out there, everybody, but I give you my best take on a lot of different things. And listen, can some of these prices go down? Like I said, yes, but it's worth taking the risk on a lot of these cards because there's so much potential on them. There's so much potential. Crystal Clearing Synchro Dragon, we saw this card really do some damage in the market, right? We saw this card really increasing in price over time. And yes, as a QCR at $10, bite at it, man. This is a great one to bite on. $10 for this QCR? Yeah. Now, Ash Blossom, the feat of Ash Blossom. This is one that I am a little skeptical about in terms of this price tag, especially because, I don't know. I don't know. I feel this price tag can come down. However, what I will tell you is that at $7, right, for these two, yeah, definitely worth the price tag at $7. I will say that can quickly go up to 10 plus. I also will say that the Secret Rare at $10, that could jump to 15, 20 so easily. And forget about it. The Platinum Secret Rare, the $20, it might be worth picking it up at 20. So it really is up to you what you want to do in terms of the Ash Blossoms here, but they all could end up going up really fast. I think these are not terrible prices. However, I think the QCR is not a great price. And I could see that one coming down just a tad bit before you want to probably purchase it at a cheaper price. At $130, it's just a little out there for me right now. QCR for the Link Karibo, I think eventually this one will end up going up as well. I understand it's not around, right? It's a great card nonetheless, and it will eventually make its way back. You know what I'm saying? So just be aware of this as well. I do expect this one to end up going down. I will say that much. So, I will say wait for it to land at like around 14 or so. I feel like it might land around there and then bite at it. But at 22, if you're just looking to pick it up just to have it at 20, yeah, it's not terrible. It's not a terrible card to pick up at 20. World Sea Dragon's Lance. I actually want to look at this version of the card. I actually didn't set this up right for this one, but I wanted to see the QCR. Yeah, $10, everybody. I mean, yes. Yes. This one should definitely be picked up at $10. If you're looking to pick up the others, they're cheap. Definitely worth the price tag right now, at least for what we're seeing here. But the QCR being at 10, yes. 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 This is just one of my favorite cards. I love this card. I don't know if a lot of people have that same feeling about this card. You might not. You probably won't. But I love the way this card looks. Again, it's another simple card. I think it's a really great effect if there's something that could put this card out there. And I do think eventually this card might become relevant at some point in time. Who knows? We'll see. But at QCR, and especially given its effect, given what it's able to do, can this drop to like $6? Sure, but at 10, it's a $4 difference. I would pick it up. It's not a terrible card. A lot of Gem Knight support. Obviously, people are getting really excited for Gem Knights. Yeah, $10 for this QCR. Why not invest in the Gem Knight hype right now? And then Lavavo Chain, man. This is another amazing card at $15. I can't see this one dropping to like $11, $12. But again, that's just like a $3, $4 difference. Don't take the risk there. $15 is not a terrible price to be picking this one up at. It's definitely a great QCR. And definitely one you shouldn't sleep on. Miscellaneousaurus. Oh my God. How is this at $10 for the QCR? I'm not going to lie. Definitely a must pick up at a QCR price tag at $10. Now, if you want the others, obviously it's cheap and it's available. The Platinum Secret is $5. Just spend the double price tag on it. Pay the $10 for the QCR. It's definitely worth it, everybody. The last card we're going over in today's Market Watch is, of course, Grand Maju. I think this is definitely a must, especially if you are a big Grand Maju fan. This at $10 for the QCR. Yes, man, this is an amazing copy to pick up for this card. And yeah, just again, these are cards you should definitely be adding to your cart. Be careful shopping on TCG Player. I'll warn you again, it's definitely not the prices you want to be picking up for these cards right now, given that there's a lot of low listings. People don't know what the price tag of them are, and they're just really up there in price at the moment. So just be careful shopping on TCG Player just for now until we have like a week and a half or so of really listings out there to get a better idea of what there is and what the prices should be in the market. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it's more of a lengthy video because we went over a lot of different cards, but I hope that helps you in your purchases. But from your truly Sparkman, we'll catch you next one. Please subscribe, like, comment, and peace out, YouTube.